But we all have to acknowledge one thing. We have to acknowledge that we probably shouldn't be here doing this. Because we have gotten to the point where we are chasing businesses out of Connecticut only to chase them back in with financial incentive. Now, Mr. Speaker, I certainly understand that there are moments as government officials when we're going to negotiate deals. That will always happen in good economic times and bad economic times. But when we are doing everything we can to push businesses out of this state, it's a little hypocritical to stand here and talk about what a great job we did with this deal. It's a little hypocritical. Do I believe people are being honest about how they feel about it? Absolutely. But to stand here and say, look at the great day it is for the state of Connecticut, it's a little hypocritical. And it wasn't with a little effort that it took to get where we are today. You have heard me stand here talk about 2 highest tax increase in the state's history, every anti-business bill known to man, regulation from every area we can find. We've talked about that. You've heard me talk about that. So here we stand. And I hate to use this term, I really do, but I feel that this is where we are. We're in a hostage situation. And I don't blame Sikorsky one bit. I don't blame Bridgewater one bit. I don't blame anybody who comes to speak to legislative leaders or the governor about making a deal with the state of Connecticut. Because they know we have our back against a wall. They know. We don't have a lot of choices. But unfortunately, we don't have those choices because that's the position we put ourselves in. And when I use the word we know the we I mean. We, on this side of the aisle, have put forth day after day, month after month, responsible budget solutions, responsible bills, responsible policies. And we have only asked one thing, to sit there and have a conversation about it. Now, I recognize many things we do in this chamber, particularly in the House chamber, are bipartisan. I recognize that. But I think we can all agree that where that road forks is on fiscal policy. And when we talk about this deal today, when people decide whether they like it or they don't like it, and I will be voting for this bill today. So I will say that. I will be voting for it because I believe Sikorsky has such a long-standing relationship in this state. I believe we have a long-standing tradition of building military equipment. I believe that military equipment and national safety is paramount where we are now. I believe they've been a good actor. I believe they have put forth many jobs, and I hope that they will keep and promote more jobs in this state. So I am a big fan of Sikorsky, and I hope that they flourish, because them flourishing allows us to flourish. So I want to make that clear from the outset. But unfortunately, this is like a stool with 3 legs. This is one leg. And is it important? Yes, it's important. But we can't balance on that one leg, because what happens? Stool falls over. And if we do not couple those 3 legs and this one deal, and possibly deals like it, with strong fiscal policy and pro-business policies, ones that at the very least do not push businesses out of the state, then that stool's going to topple, and it's going to topple again and again and again. My colleague upstairs in the Senate and I requested last week from the governor and legislative leaders, may we have a meeting to discuss the possibility of expanding this call, because what I've heard from this chamber, from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle for the past couple weeks, is how pro-business they are and how they want to help business, whether it be this deal or other ideas they have. I take them at their word. So we said, let's be consistent. Let's expand this and do a few more things. Can't help the state too quickly, right? Not only did we not get the conversation, but we were called names. I mean, come on, guys. It was appalling that we asked to have a meeting. Let me tell you something. I do a lot of things you could call appalling. That wasn't one of them. Asking for a meeting. If asking for a meeting to discuss something we all believe we're on the same page about is appalling, that's a sad day in the state of Connecticut. So which one is it? Are we pro-business or are we not pro-business? I heard the majority leader mention before, and I think he's deep into football season because he's been using a lot of football analogies. Heard him talk about this being a decisive victory and an offensive maneuver. That's what he said. Well, hopefully, that offensive maneuver has darn good balance, because if they can't balance on one leg of that three-leg stool, we're going to have big problems. Once again, we better be consistent. You cannot speak out of both sides of your mouth. You cannot talk on one side of two highest tax increases in the state's history, of anti-business policies, pushing businesses out of the state, and then say, hey, look what happened now. This is good. See, we believe in business. It's a good thing. It's only a good thing if we are consistent with all other aspects of what we do in this building. Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned, I will be voting for this today, but it's with a heavy heart. Not because I don't think Sikorsky is a great company, not because I don't believe that we need to keep those jobs and grow more jobs in the Stratford area, not because I don't believe that the 80 some odd towns that they supply and the hundreds of jobs that they create outside of the Stratford area are important. But we need to start putting our money where our mouth is. We have to stop playing this cat and mouse game. We need to be the chased, not the chaser. We have to stop chasing businesses. We have to create a state that people want to be in. And that's not where we are now, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.